walk down and need a microphone or here?
Yes, but not the lock. Just take it out of the box. It's a brick. It's in the box that protects the finish. Oh, I haven't seen him in so long. Oh, this is good. Good stuff.
Good evening. Welcome to the February 21st City of Oldsmar City Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Put your mic on.
Good job. Could I ask everyone to please rise? Before we get started, I'd like to have a moment of silence for two of our neighbors we lost this past week. Dorothy Larson was an employee of the Oldsmar Library and founding member of the Historical Society. She was an active member of the Garden Club and never missed a Christmas at the Oldsmar Fire Department. Also, Babe Wright's daughter, Lisa, she passed away this week. Please keep them in your prayers during this moment of silence. Thank you. Our invocation and our pledge of allegiance will be led by our city attorney, Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, we come humbly before you to ask your divine guidance and help in our deliberations this evening. Bless the members of this council and the citizens that are present. We pray that our work this evening will find favor in your sight. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Our next item on the agenda is the Oldsmar Public Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 5-minute presentation on any subject. Please state your name and address for the record. The open forum will conclude at 7:30 p.m. Is there anybody on this side of the room that would like to speak to the City Council? Come on up.
Hello. Hey guys, my name is Chris Luna. I'm the National Director for USA BMX. First of all, thank you guys so much for allowing me to come here tonight. We usually do this at the track and present a plaque and for all of our thanks for you guys. And I'm just going to say now, wow, the city of Oldsmar has stood behind BMX in this city for many, many years, and we just truly appreciate it from the bottom of our heart. This past weekend, we had a state event here. It was the biggest state event in record that we've ever had across the state of Florida. And we followed up this weekend with the national event, the Gator Nationals, which we've been doing for many, many years. And again, just on behalf of USA BMX, we want to thank all of you guys, the city of Oldsmar, for always supporting not only BMX, but also USA BMX in general. Thank you guys so much.
Stand behind us or against it? We're so grateful to host USA BMX. Thank you so much. It's amazing. The park was packed last weekend. It's amazing.
Even better this week, guys.
And
Thank
this weekend again.
It is.
Thank
It
you
is.
so
Thank you.
much.
All right, sir, you wanted to come up? Come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Geyer. I live in 8906 North River Road in Tampa. It's kind of cool to follow what just went on, but I submitted the plans for the off-road trails for Bicentennial Park, and then I also submitted a budget as well for review. So
This is
finally
your
get to
project
meet you
here?
Face, Mr. Saraki. So yeah, that's what I submitted today, and it was just kind of like it's just a simple draft of what could be done if there's no issues, you know, and it could take a lot longer, of course, to do things, but just a simple plan just to get us off and running. And so I didn't know if you guys had reviewed it earlier, but I just wanted to submit that budget tonight. I don't really have like an agenda, but I just wanted to bring the idea forward to the mayor.
So I got a quick question. Aren't you the one that did it like 6 years ago?
Yeah,
for
yes,
the
sir.
Leisure Services
It was
Department?
about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, 10 years
We're going
ago.
on
Yes,
11
I
years,
remember.
actually.
Okay, so the city council will review this and we'll work with the city manager.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks
you
for your
so
time,
much.
everybody.
Thank you.
That was cool to end after, go after BMX. Very cool.
Right? Yeah. Full circle.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side of the room would like to speak to the city council? All right, anybody on this side of the room? Okay, come on up.
Jerry Beaver, 512 Short Drive West. I didn't come to see the council, no, but I want to thank the council for who you are. I come to see my friend. Treat him right.
You will. Thank you, Jerry. Anyone else on this side of the room? Come on up.
Jason Sanders with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, 101 State Street. Lot to report, but just wanted to mention one thing in case you guys saw a little hubbub yesterday. As we were doing some new business with St. Pete Clearwater, since we're a visitor center, we got with them and we wanted to tell them more about Oldsmar, and they said, well, how would you do that? So yesterday, just so you know, we went to their offices, picked up 30 of them and their staff on a bus, drove them to Oldsmar and gave them a grand tour of Oldsmar. So we highlighted the restaurants, the hotels, the businesses, our parks, the waterfront properties, everything that they needed to know more about Oldsmar that they didn't have any idea because they're over there inside in a desk. So we exposed them to Oldsmar, we showed them the beauty of it and everything going on. They were very impressed. But there was a little hubbub with 30 of us going around with, flags keeping them in line. So if anybody says anything, that's what that was all about. So just wanted to let you know that's what the hubbub was about. Okay? That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else would like to speak to the city council? Anyone? All right, with that, I'm going to close the Oldsmar Public Open Forum. Our next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Okay, well, we have a senior resource fair, Thursday, March 2nd, 11 to 2 at Oldsmar Library. Stop by and learn about the many local businesses offering services and programs. Raffle prizes and lunch provided, presented by the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce and the Area Agency on Aging of Pasco Pinellas. Free admission and Cuban sandwiches means free Cuban sandwiches. That's a blandish, but it's true. And what else is true is that whether you are a senior or a caregiver or senior caregiver, the Area Agency on Aging of Pasco Pinellas is an absolutely wonderful resource. So you can just Google them on the interweb and they're just fantastic. So don't forget about that. First Friday movie is Friday, March 3rd at 1:00 p.m. at Oldsmar Library. The library's got it going on. Get a free viewing of Ticket to Paradise, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts, with this afternoon matinee. Bring your own snacks and drinks, but it's worth it because it's George Clooney and Julia Roberts. I mean, that's rocketry. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And then a local author night. Tuesday, March 7th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the library. Enjoy an evening with local authors as they present and discuss their published works. Light refreshments will be served. Presented by the Friends of the Oldsmar Library. Go westerly, go easterly, go wherever you want, but go to the library and see. They got a lot going on. That's it.
Great job. Thank you, Ann. Wonderful. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of additional new agenda items. Those are items 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I need a motion to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is awards and recognition, and I am humbled, honored to present Congressman Gus Bilirakis with the key to the city of Oldsmar. Gus, I want to say something really important.
Mike.
I speak for.
So the people on YouTube can hear you.
Thank you, Kate. Hello?
There we go, yeah.
I speak for not for myself, but all the council members, all the past mayors, all the past council members, the city staff, all the city manager, the past city managers. We are so grateful that you're here today. We are honored to have you, and I have a couple things I'd like to say. But let me give you this first. Hold that for me. As many of you know, Congressman Bilirakis has served the residents of Florida's 12th congressional district with great dedication, securing over $200 million in federal funds for a variety of important projects that have directly benefited our community. $200 million. This includes VA capital project, grants, individual casework outcomes, and community budget requests such as the one he secured for the State Street project, which has strengthened our infrastructure and made our city safer and more resilient. That's wonderful. Thank you. Congressman Bilirakis has been a tireless advocate for our nation's veterans, serving as vice chairman of the VA committee for 14 years. During his tenure, he spearheaded numerous efforts to modernize the benefits process and expand veterans' access to health care and prevent homelessness and suicide among veterans. He currently serves as a senior member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, where he chairs the Innovation, Data, and Commerce Subcommittee, and is a senior member of both the Health Subcommittee and Communications, Technology, and Subcommittee. You're a busy guy. As a bipartisan leader in Congress, Congressman Bilirakis has been incredibly effective in his efforts to control government spending, create jobs, lower taxes. He has authored 75 bills that have been signed into law since 2015 and was recently designated the most effective Republican lawmaker in the state of Florida by the Center of Effective Lawmaking at Vanderbilt University. We are honored to have Congressman Bilirakis here with us today, and we thank him for his unwavering commitment to improving the lives of all Americans, and especially his constituents here in the city of Oldsmar. Again, it is my pleasure to present him with the key to our city and a commemorative brick to express our deep appreciation for everything you have done for the city of Oldsmar. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Everyone come on. I'd like to get a picture with the council. Tom, come on. Yep. Casper, you want to get in? Yes. You can hold it. You can hold it. I can hold it for now, for the picture anyway.
I'm good.
So I'm going to give you the mic. I want you to say a couple words, because I'll take that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'm going to hold on to this. Folks, it's good to be home. It really is. I've represented Oldsmar and since 1998, first in the legislature and then in Congress. And this is a special, special city. It definitely is. And thanks to Mayor Beaverland and the city council at that time, I really am home because I'm an honorary citizen of Oldsmar. So, this is just, I brag about this city everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And unfortunately, it's very sad that due to redistricting, I no longer represent Pinellas County, but you will always be there. I will always be there for you. So don't ever hesitate, okay? This is what I always say, and my staff, we have a limited staff, but they do an outstanding job. They're the best staff in the country, and they're responsible for a lot of our successes. But, I put a lot of pressure on them because I tell my former constituents in Pinellas County and Hillsborough, look, you can always call us. We're going to help you. You can't vote for me, but I can help you. So please call on us, and I want to continue to be an honorary resident of Oldsmar, and I'll try to make you proud up there. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless you.
Great to see you, Vince.
Thank you, and this book is going at Veterans Memorial Park.
Every Veterans Day and Memorial Day is always there.
Thank you, Gus.
Thank you, guys.
All right, our next item on the agenda is our firefighter's oath and pinning of Riley Nolan. Ann Nixon, would you please take that? Yep, thank you.
Tell them they can come up here.
So,
Yeah, by the podium. With him. Stand with him.
You guys can come up here.
please raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Riley Nolan,
Do solemnly pledge
do solemnly pledge
to uphold the laws and Constitution
to uphold the laws and Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Florida,
the state of Oldsmar.
the city of Oldsmar.
I pledge to remain ever vigilant,
I pledge to remain ever vigilant,
protecting our citizens' lives,
health, homes, and property.
health, homes, and property.
I pledge to accomplish our mission
Through education,
through education, training,
and the commitment
to the accountability and respect.
I pledge to accept with honor
I pledge to accept with honor
the duties and responsibilities
of firefighter
of firefighter
for Oldsmar Fire Rescue. So help me God.
Congratulations.
So great.
Thank you, Ann. Great job. Congratulations.
Congratulations, John.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the presentation of the January-February 2023 Council Manager Award, and I will be presenting that. Get the microphone. All right. Thank you very much for everyone coming. I've got a special award this evening for two special people in our community, Gary and Sandy Sears. Thank you so much for joining us. You stay right there. I'll call you up here in a minute. How's that? So you can just, I got a couple words I want to read. Sandy and Gary moved to Oldsmar in November of 1976. Whoops. So let's put that in perspective. I was a sophomore in high school and I had hair. Okay?
I wasn't born.
All right. At that time, Gary was working for the phone company in Oldsmar as part of his service area, and he liked the city and would visit RE Olds Park with his wife, Sandy. One day, Gary had to get a key from a neighbor, Rosita Brown, to service her neighbor's house. Afterwards, Gary complimented Rosita on her house, and soon afterwards, she sold her house to them. They have been there ever since and raised their son, Johnny, right here in Oldsmar. In 1981, Sandy started working for the city of Oldsmar as a utility billing clerk in the building that we are here right now. The building was built in 1919, and Sandy used to work here, right in this building. Sandy became the customer service supervisor until she retired in 2002. Both Gary and Sandy have been very involved in the community over the years. They are active members of the Oldsmar Community United Methodist Church. Sandy served as treasurer of the Wesley Girls for many years. She also served as treasurer of the Top of the Bay Garden Club in the late 1980s, Friends of the Library, Women's Club of Oldsmar for 3 years, and Oldsmar Historical Society. Both Gary and Sandy Sears were chartered members of the Oldsmar Historical Society, which was incorporated 20 years ago in 2003. Every Arbor Day, you could find Sandy and the Top of the Bay Garden Club members, Loretta Wyatt, Babe Wright, Betty Ray, Linda Hardwell, and Dorothy Larson planting trees all around the city of Oldsmar. At Christmas time, Sandy, Tammy, Tom's, Peter Brown, and Dorothy Larson would be at the fire station, open house, helping children make pine cone ornaments with peanut butter and birdseed. The children would hang the ornaments on the nearest tree at the fire department. Loretta Wyatt got Sandy interested in working as a poll worker at election time. Initially, voting took place in the old council chambers right here. Sandy moved up to an advisor position. During training, Sandy would check in people, and she would work in the North County as an advisor. Gary volunteered at the Recreation Board, which is now called Leisure Services. In the early 1980s, the new Tico building was on the corner of State Street and Park Boulevard, and Gary, a.k.a. Santa, would greet everyone. Santa would sit on an open wagon outside, and Brian Smith would drive around in a circle. Eventually, Santa Claus was at Ariel's Park, and each time he would have a different Mrs. Claus. But in the 1990s, Sandy was needed to fill in, and she became Mrs. Claus permanently until just before the pandemic, when they gave up the roles as Mr. and Mrs. Claus of the city of Oldsmar. Oldsmar is a city that loves cars, especially Oldsmobiles, but Sandy and Gary, their spare time, you'll be seeing them driving around in their 2003 Thunderbird convertible. This is a special couple who has lived, worked, and raised their family in Oldsmar. Their love for the city is evident in all the community work they have done over the last 47 years. It is my honor to give you the Council Manager Award for January and February of 2023. Come on up. So I have one quick question. How many years actually were you, AKA Santa?
29 years.
Wow.
And I know what a commitment that is with those children for both of you. I really do. I know it's a lot of work. Would you have anything you would like to say? I'd like you to say something to the community because this is your day. This is a day that you guys deserve for all your hard work you've given to the city of Oldsmar.
I want to thank all of my neighbors, my friends, and my son for coming.
My brothers.
Her brothers. No. And that's it. I enjoyed doing that. It was good.
It was good. Sandy, would you like to say anything? Because you've done so much, I mean, you've worked in this building.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of wonderful memories, and I love living in Oldsmar. I'll never forget when we moved here from Tampa. I said, they have a civic club. That's great. We've got a place where Johnny can play in the pool. And well, I didn't realize it was a bingo hall. But anyway, we have loved Oldsmar. We've seen a lot of innovation. Everything has it's just gone crazy, but we love it. And wouldn't live anywhere else.
One light, one stop sign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One stop sign.
that was the McDonald's and one stop,
One stop lot was at the racetrack in Hillsborough,
Yep.
yeah,
Tampa Road.
yeah. Have lost a lot of good friends, but we still have a wonderful friend base and family. So we're happy. We love it. Thank you.
So congratulations. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you.
Family photo. Family friend photo.
Yeah, you guys want to get up here? Come on, get up here. No, all of you, really, come on.
Can you really squish together? Squish, squish. Really squish together.
All right, everybody, I need everyone to smile. It's a historic picture here.
All right. Say Sears.
Wait, I think I blinked.
Come on, one more.
Don't move, don't move. Wait. Oh.
I have one more special gift. For all your hard work, the city clerk's office put this out for you. And I think it's been here for a while, right? Because we were going to give it to you a couple of years ago, but you guys weren't available. But we thank you so much. I know exactly how hard it is to be Santa in Mrs. Claus. Believe me, it's a lot of work.
Sorry. Did I say that?
To see them as Santa. What did Madison say that one year that you?
She knew her secret.
Oh.
Yeah, when she was little, she would look out the window, and she looked out the window and saw Ma'am and Papa walk in, but they were dressed up as Santa, and that's when she found out.
She knew Santa wasn't real.
Take a picture with Santa.
One more. Can you guys squish together? All right. One more time. Sears. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
family, for all coming.
That's great.
It's not if you can't.
Thank you all.
It ain't got whiskey in it.
It's like the good family banter. Love it. I love it.
That was a big one. All right. Thank you again for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
The City Council and I all thank you for joining us. The next item on the agenda is our consent docket. Ann Nixon, City Clerk, you have the floor.
Item number 4, approved minutes of the January 10th, 2023 work session on downtown development, request for proposal specifics. Item number 5, approved minutes of the February 2nd, 2023 work session for downtown redevelopment, request for proposals, process, and criteria. Item number 6, approved minutes of the February 7th, 2023 council meeting. Item number 7, approve minutes of February 9, 2023 work session for final ranking of city clerk candidates. Item number 8, approve payment to legal counsel for January 2023 legal services. Item number 9, approve awarding contract to Major Electric Motors to conduct rehabilitation work on the Sellers Lift Station per the pricing terms and conditions of Lee County Contract Number B190409 JJB, piggyback 20-028. Item number 10, approve purchase for 2 aeration tank mixers at water reclamation facility from Major Electric Motors per the same pricing terms and conditions of Lee County Contract B190409 JJB, piggyback 20-028.
Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent docket?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 6.
Okay, number 6. Anyone else? Okay, then I need a motion to approve item 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on those items? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, approve minutes of the February 7, 2023 council meeting. Vice Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a clarification for the record, whether I'm adding a statement to the record. I'm not trying to change the minutes, but going back to that meeting, it was stated that I had left ethics training early, and I just want to clarify for the record. On October 14th to 15th, I attended the Florida League of Cities Institute for Elected Municipal Officers. This is an educational program designed for newly elected officials. We've all taken this course, but it's not a legal course that I have to take. It's an elective course and not required by Florida law. During that session, I had approached Lynn Tipton prior to the meeting and let her know that I had a prior commitment on Saturday and I would have to depart early. That departure early led to me missing a course called Parliamentary Procedures in Your City Attorney's Roles and Responsibilities presented by Randy Mora. And I came back and made some comments in regards to missing that. But I did not, I want to make sure that's on the record because it was stated that I missed the ethics course. And on 10/26/2022, I virtually attended and completed the 4-hour ethics training required by Florida law and provided that notification to the city clerk.
Okay.
That's it.
Tom, do we have to make any changes then?
Changes to the
Right,
minutes.
there's
then.
no
They
changes.
just make
No
a
changes, amendments,
clarification.
just clarification.
Okay, then Vice Mayor, would you like to make a motion to approve item number 6?
To make a motion to approve item 6 as stated,
As presented.
as presented.
Right, second?
Second.
All in favor, any other discussion? No? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion number passes for item number 6. Next item on the agenda is approve appointment of Dave Beinhardt as alternate member of the Leisure Services Advisory Board. Dave, come on up. Tell us all your wonderful stories about softball, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, the first thing I want to do is thank you guys all for coming out for opening day. I was going to do it through the general portion, but I knew I was coming up, so I figured I'd do it at this point. Opening day was a big success. We had a great time, lots of support from the city staff. Only one of you were unable to make it, which was more than we expected. So we thank you guys for your support continued. And that's all I have for that.
All right, so now you're going to be on the Leisure Services Board. Are you excited?
I am, absolutely.
Councilmember Knapp wants you, I think, to dance or sing.
Dancing.
Wouldn't. I don't know about that.
I'm kidding.
I'd be better at throwing or hitting.
Yeah, see how far you can throw a ball.
Well, I want to, Dave, you've been involved in the Little League for numerous years. You've done so much for community. Is there anybody else who'd like to say anything, Katie, or anybody would like to say something to Dave? I mean, I want to open the floor.
Oh, you and Alex have been just absolutely incredible with the youth of this community for so many years and in so many capacities. The fact that you want to serve on the Leisure Services Advisory Board is a gift to us in that you have a wealth of knowledge and experience in leisure services in general, and also you have such passion for leisure services in our city. And I'm so grateful that you continue to want to give back to this community, and you've already done so much. So thank you for everything that you and Alex have done.
Thank you.
Councilmember Knapp, you want to say anything?
Sure. I just want to say thanks again for what you put together with just the general opening day ceremonies, you as well as the rest of the board there. I mean, I know that Little League in the past few years was kind of teetering on you know, is it going to still be as great as it was in the past? And from what I saw last weekend, it was like out of this world. It's like brought back memories of me being there as a kid, and what you did for the McMullen family. Fantastic. I saw former players and coaches that I was there with. So doing things like that represents how much you care about the community, and having people like that on our advisory boards. I mean, you're here even when there's nothing Little League related, and sitting in meetings, and that shows just, again, your dedication to our city.
Thank
So
you.
for that, thank you.
I can't take credit for everything on opening day. It was a group effort, and our board right now is in a really good place, and it shows.
It shows, yeah.
It shows.
Thank you,
Anyone
Mayor.
else? You're welcome, both of you.
You know, Dave is a longtime friend. We've talked, and I am so excited about this. If you look up contribution to the community, you and Alex are right there. That's the definition. I love what you guys have done out there. Being a first-time parent at softball this past week, it was amazing to see the effort that the entire board puts in. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, to echo everybody else's comments, when I saw that you weren't on it, I was like, this is the perfect match. So yes, you know, it was great to see. So thank you for your service, Dave.
Thank you.
So last comment, you know how Facebook shows up years back memory? Well, it was 6 years ago, and there was pictures that I had taken of the Little League, and it was half the amount of people that were this past weekend we were with you. I want to just say great job. Congratulations. I am looking forward to you being on the Leisure Services Advisory Board. I think you're going to do wonders for that whole that board and organization. And I welcome you to the team, and thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Motion to approve his appointment
How about a
to the
second?
Leisure Services Advisory Board.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signifies by yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Uh-oh, you're on. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, item 12 is the next item on our agenda. It's the presentation of proclamation of 2023 Flood Awareness Week, and our Vice Mayor will be taking care of that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hello?
All right. So the 2023 Flood Awareness Week. Whereas the city of Oldsmar has experienced severe weather in the past in the form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events, resulting in flooding in both coastal and riverine areas, and this flooding has caused damage and flood losses to homes and buildings in all areas, whether they are high-risk special flood hazard areas or low to moderate risk flood zones. And whereas the city of Oldsmar is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program that provides residents with the opportunity to protect themselves against flood loss through the purchase of flood insurance at reduced insurance premium rates, as well as setting higher regulatory standards to reduce the flood risk and potential flood damage to their property. And whereas the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood, and whereas public education and awareness of potential weather hazards and methods of protection are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of residents, the Florida Floodplain Managers Association have declared the week of March 6, 2023 as Flood Awareness Week to promote awareness and increase knowledge of flood risk, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now, therefore, I, Jared Buckman, Vice Mayor of Oldsmar, on behalf of Dan Saraki, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, do hereby proclaim the week of March 6, 2023 as Flood Awareness Week in the City of Oldsmar, and further encourage the citizens to increase their knowledge of how to protect themselves and their property from flooding. Date is this 21st day of February 2023.
Jared, hold it. Hold it? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can just see the proclamation.
There you go.
No, open.
I'm an amateur.
I got you.
It's okay.
The nice side.
Yeah.
There you go.
other way.
Your phone's fancier than mine.
All right, thank you,
Thank
Jared.
you.
So we just want to keep this in the forefront of everyone's mind. So although the city of Oldsmar is a coastal community, flooding doesn't always occur during like tropical events. So we want you guys to be prepared, know your risks. So find out your FEMA firm flood zone, your hurricane evacuation zones. Know that homeowners insurance doesn't cover flood events, and document things so ahead of time. Just if you don't have a plan, make a plan. There are a few things I'm supposed to mention. Hurricane Expo is May 6th with our very own Mike Boland, Mike's weather page. You guys might be familiar. That's 10 to noon at the Oldsmar Rec Center. We'll also be featuring some flood topics in our Experience Oldsmar magazine. Again, the flood maps, flood insurance, discount flood insurance, disaster preparedness tips. Make those retrofits, make your home, your structure more resilient. Some social media messaging that'll go out for Flood Awareness Week will be, again, know your hazards, protect yourself and your property, build responsibly, and also some sea level rise information. That's all I had.
You covered it. Thank you. Wow, lots of info.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Next item is item 13, and Felicia Donnelly, our city manager, would you like to take that item, please?
Yes, Mayor. Item number 13 is a presentation of our fall and winter special events by Leisure Services Director Chip Potts.
Nice photo.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the delay there.
No worries.
Okay, good evening. I am Chip Potts, the Director of Leisure Services, and I wanted to take an opportunity to share with you some of the successes that we've had in the Leisure Services Department from October through December 22. It was a very busy time, and I think it's fair to recognize our staff for all the hard work that they've done because they put a lot of heart and soul into the efforts to make this a great community and make these events special. So we had a total of 26 events between October and December of 2022. Now, not all of those events were led by the Leisure Services staff because we do partner with third parties through the special event application process to provide some other special events. So outside of those 26 events that were held, 14 of those were led by the Leisure Services staff. And when you look at those 14 events, the number of attendees at those events, 17,500 is our estimate. That's a lot of people coming to our parks and attending our events and coming to Oldsmar, because not everybody that attends our events are obviously from Oldsmar.
Yeah.
So in October, let's talk about October. So we had the USA BMX Gator Nationals. We had a movie in the park, Paw Palooza, and Haunted Happenings. So obviously our largest event is Gator Nationals, okay? That was back in October on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. And at that event we had 911 riders with an estimated 11,478 attendees. This is by far, again, our largest event. USA BMX is responsible for hosting, where we host the event. USA BMX programs the event. They schedule all the races, they take the registrations, they organize all of that. But we provide the support behind the event, such as parking, security, EMS, maintenance of the facility, which a lot of trash gets generated during these events. But it's an all hands on deck type of event. Our staff, and we'll get later in the slides, but we just had our state series events with what Chris Luna was talking about, all hands on deck, and just roll off dumpster of trash and portalettes and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's what makes these events successful is our partnerships. So especially with Gator Nationals. As we moved into October, we had a Paul Palooza event, which was our second time around, much better than the one that we tried to offer back in 2021. We had 200 in attendance at this event. We had dog agility, we had puppy costume contests, we had puppy vendors out there, and it was well attended, and I think it went over very successful for the community and the staff. Haunted happenings. This event had so much potential to be so great, and it started off great. We estimated that we had 400 people there. We started at 6. We had the trick-or-treat stops. We had the hayride, and I had to give our park staff credit. They were the ones that came up with the idea for the hayride. Again, they programmed that entire hayride with the decorations and the scenes and all that. So they're not just out there mowing and doing their weeding. They're creative too, and they're a very integral part of our success. But unfortunately, right around 7 o'clock, the rain kicked in, and you were all there. It just didn't stop. It just didn't stop. So unfortunately, we had to cancel, but as you remember, previous 2 years, we did it at Sports Complex. We did the drive-through, and that was a good transition from COVID and making it safe, but we really think we found the niche there in Orioles Park with this event again. We have very positive feedback. So that was October, and I want to circle back a little bit to the Gator Nationals that did take place in October and talk about the impact, the economic impact that events like Gator Nationals and baseball tournaments and soccer tournaments have on our community because they do bring people in from all over, as I mentioned. So the Florida Recreation and Park Association has developed a tool for agencies to utilize that helps to quantify and measure the impact that these types of events have on our communities. And this economic impact calculator that the Florida Recreation and Park Association has developed, after we plugged in our numbers to the number of riders and visitors and all that kind of stuff, it came up with a number of $1.6 million in economic impact to our community. I mean, that's a large number. That's a 3-day event, $1.6 million. So, this happens because, as the evidence shows here, that 59% of the attendees that visited or came to this event were non-local visitors. And the Florida Sports Foundation defines a non-local visitor as somebody who lives more than 50 miles away outside of that radius of our town. So 59% of the people who came to Gator Nationals were outside of a 50-mile range. So that's it's really it's impactful. So again, 911 athletes. We had 39 states and 8 countries who were represented at this event. And the estimated room nights for hotels was over 2,500 at 2,550. So lots of people staying, lots of people eating, lots of people playing. So, and that's where those numbers come from. So, so we moved out of October. We got into November. We had a Sunset Sounds. We did our Veterans Day ceremony. We had a talent show and the tree lighting ceremony. And the Sunset Sounds is one of those popular events which, you can either show up in your car, drive your golf cart, show up. We had food vendors, and you guys have been there. We had about 275 at that event. And then the following week, it was a Friday, it was the 11th, and we had our Veterans Day ceremony. And there was Hurricane Nicole was off the east coast of Florida, but it was generating winds and potential for rain here. And as you know, we usually have the big 60 by 40 tent. Our tent vendor said, nope, we're not going to deliver a tent. And we weren't comfortable with possibly putting people outside in the rain. So we had the ceremony inside here. But we also, even though we didn't have that event in person, we still had about 300 views online for that event. So, we usually, we estimate about 300 in the park. So we still had people online viewing that. Then we had our tree lighting ceremony. That was held in November. It was a little bit early, it just the way the calendar fell. So that was on the 29th, and Oldsmar Elementary was there with the songs, and we had snow. Remember, we had snow for this event. That's the first time. And we had about 250 people in attendance, and that, of course, David Wallace, our Citizen of the Year, he lit our Christmas tree. So that was a really, really good event.
That was great.
Then we move into the heart of the event season with December, because it's holiday event after holiday. It's like, I think there's like 2 holiday events every week, whether they're ours or somebody else's, because you have the library, the fire department has the rides and everything. It's just, it's a crazy month. But, Winter Wonderland is obviously our largest event in December. We had over 3,000 people. We have the choral, we have the chorus there, we have the music, holiday music, we have inflatables, we had, and again, our parks department, taking off of the haunted hayride, they were the ones that came up with the idea to have the sleigh ride. So we had themed Christmas decorations, and they got to ride around on the tractor and the hayride again. So that was fun. And then, of course, our 20 tons of snow for the world famous snow slope that we have here in Orioles Park during that event. And Mr. and Mrs. Claus. That's right, Mr. and Mrs. Claus were there, and I heard they did a great job. I know they had to go back to the North Pole and rest before Christmas Day, because they certainly talked to they took a lot of requests, I would think.
Yes. Well, and then they had breakfast with Santa like the next
And
day.
then, exactly. And then breakfast. And then we had the 4th annual golf cart parade, and this keeps growing. This is a fun event. It's really community based. 56 golf carts were registered with over 200 participants on those golf carts. So it's just some of the ideas and the creativity that you see on the golf carts that people come through on town. And as you go through the streets, families come up and they sit their chairs out. And it's a rather quick event because they just kind of pass by. But there's a lot of families that come out and set up lawn chairs and watch the event. And then Party in the Park Family Game Night, that was the night before New Year's Eve. And this is an event that the recreation staff kind of melded together and said, okay, we have Sunset Sounds and we have some other events, but let's kind of do something more family oriented. And boy, this one's really taken off. 700 people in attendance for that night. And that's, people coming and going, maybe not all at once, but people coming and going for life-size games, food trucks, inflatables. We had music in the background. So it's just a nice time for people to come together and congregate. So that was those were our December events. And we also have other Oldsmar events. We have Second Fridays with the Chamber of Commerce, the Mayor's Breakfast, Celebrate Oldsmar, and you can see the list on here. We had a new food truck rally with Florida Penguins International over here on the lot next to City Hall, which we've never really done an event like that before, and especially on that lot. And that's the same place that the Tampa Bay Brewing Company had their beer festival as well. So, a little more activity in the downtown instead of in the park, which was kind of cool and unique. So, we talked about a little bit the economic impact of the community events, but, what are the other impacts that our events have, and why are they important to us, okay? So, these events are important because they bring people together. They build our community, right? It makes people proud of their town. Hey, I live in Oldsmar. You live in Oldsmar? Oh, man, I love going to the events over there. I love the parks, or I love the city itself. It's so great, It brings attention to the city. Gator Nationals, Winter Wonderland, all these events bring attention, right? They put Oldsmar on the map from an event standpoint. And they create traditions that make lasting memories.
Yeah.
Literally, right? That's not an event, but I'm sure you guys remember your first time down the snow slope. And then you bring your kids to the snow slope. And now your kids are all grown up, they're gonna bring their grandkids to this. It builds tradition, it builds memories. And that's what strengthens our community is these memories that we build and these connections. So, outside of that, and that as well, it creates positive economic benefits, like I said, whether it's the Gator Nationals, or we're having a Second Friday, or a Winter Wonderland event where we have food vendors or craft vendors come in. It boosts the economy of our town. And then, and this just shows you that the demand for our community events from our leisure service from our leisure services survey from April of 2022, the majority of the respondents in that survey listed fairs, festivals, and concerts as the type of events that build strong communities. And that's what we're trying to do here. So, spring is extra special. We all know that. So we've got a bunch of events coming up. As Chris Luna had mentioned from USA BMX, we just finished our Florida State Championship Series last weekend with the most riders ever at a state series race. And our reward is we get to do a Gator Nationals this weekend. And we're all gearing up. I think we had the one day off, so we're rested on the holiday yesterday. So we're all rested up, ready to gear up again this weekend. But springing forward, we have movies in the park planned. The Rotary Club's Armadillo Run is coming up. Oldsmar Days and Nights, Party in the Park, the Honor Our Heroes 5K, and our Memorial Day ceremony, which will end up our spring event season. So as I like to say, and like we like to say in our profession, it starts in parks. So that's my presentation for this evening, and thank you for your time.
Chip,
Thank you, Chip. Great job.
questions, Chip.
Sure, go ahead, Councilmember Gannon.
I saw you put up February, but I don't want you to forget about January. I mean, Touch a Truck, there was, and that list that you made, those were like the events that everybody hears about, but there were so many more events than just what is on that list. I
Yes,
mean,
there are. There are many more events, and you look at. You balance between event and program and activity, so
Right,
it's like what's
right.
that threshold? So
Right, so
we
it's
just wanted
like
to highlight there are
camps
plenty.
or programs, but
Right.
then you've got events, but don't forget Touch a Truck, because I know that was really
Touch a
well
Truck was a
attended.
great event. The fire department did a great job putting that on.
That has really morphed from like just a local event to like a regional event. We had so many different sponsors that kind of, and partners, I guess you would call them, who came and supported us in that. Chief and your team out there, I mean, that was a huge event, the Touch a Truck. Fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing this hopefully every quarter. I know you don't have anything better to do than create beautiful presentations for us.
I had a
But-
lot of help creating the presentation.
But the community needs to see that. They need to see that. You're absolutely right. Traditions. That
Yep.
Councilmember Knapp, you have anything?
No, it's a great presentation. I'm looking forward to many more fun events in the years to come.
Me too.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. Chip, do you have for the next couple months, do we have an agenda, what's going on, or not yet?
What for the special events?
Like for May?
Oh, so typically our event seasons end at May. After May and June and July, it's just too hot to run events.
Yeah.
They usually don't fire up until in September, or October. That's why we moved Celebrate Oldsmar out of Labor Day because of the
Yeah.
weather, remember? So
Right.
anyway, so yeah.
Well, great job.
Thank you.
Busy
Thank you so
season.
much for that update. Really appreciate it very much.
Saturday.
Yes.
All right, next item on the agenda is 14, which will be handled by our city attorney, Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 14 is consider employment agreement with Kristen Garcia for the city clerk position. You'll remember that at the special meeting that was held on February 9th, the council interviewed two candidates and ranked the preferences, and Kristen Garcia was ranked number 1. Council then authorized the city manager and myself to negotiate the terms of an employment. In your packet is that employment agreement that has been negotiated with the proposed city clerk. Some of the more important things in the agreement is that the start date is going to be March 13th, 2023, that she'll perform functions and duties as specified in the code and the charter under the city clerk provision, that her base salary, annual base salary is listed at $80,000. That if for some reason or another her employment terminated, there are some severance provisions in this agreement that provides for 12 weeks of severance. You'll remember that the statute allows a severance up to 20 weeks, so this is 12. In addition to the other normal things in the employment agreements, it specifically provides that she will receive at a minimum the highest level of benefits that are enjoyed by other employees here in the city. You can see on page 7 of the employment agreement that Ms. Garcia has already signed the agreement. So if it is acceptable to the council, then there should be a motion to approve this employment agreement.
Thank you, Tom. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item? Anybody like to say anything? I'm kind of excited about it. Vice Mayor?
I'm excited about it, but it still means we lose Ann.
Yes.
I'm glad there's going to be a 2-week overlap period so that Kristen will be able to learn and see how things.
Oh, she's gonna be great.
Yeah. So the 21st then, huh?
No,
March?
31st. Oh, yeah. We got lots of stuff going on. I end in March 31st. So it's really a 3-week overlap, even better.
Councilmember Graber, any comments at all?
No.
You're good? Yeah. Councilmember?
I'm excited for the opportunity for a new working relationship, and obviously we'll be saddened by the departure of our beloved Ann, but save future comments for March.
I second that. I'm gonna miss you, Ann. Thank you so much for everything you've done. I think it's great that she's already signed this. That's kind of, exciting to see that she's really dedicated to get to work, right? All right, I have a motion.
Sign agreements before we
I have a
approve them.
second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, next item on the agenda is our city manager, Felicia Donnelly, item 15.
Item number 15, approve the special event application fee waiver request for the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce's Oldsmar Days and Nights event to be held March 24th through 26th, 2023. Oldsmar Days and Nights is a citywide celebration that began in 1962 as a half-day picnic named Oldsmar Days by the Oldsmar's volunteer firemen. The event was assumed by the Chamber of Commerce in 1964 and later expanded to become a weekend-long celebration that it is now. The event is a signature occasion in Oldsmar. It attracts about 5,000 people to the park and downtown area over the weekend. There are a variety of activities that visitors can enjoy, such as a parade, carnival, arts and crafts, food and beverage vendors, car shows, and live music. The proceeds generated from the event are used to support the operations of the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. In accordance with the City of Oldsmar Special Event Guide, it's requested that the city waive the fees associated with this event in the amount of $6,530. All other external costs, including utility fees of $750, will be Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce's responsibility. The application is attached in the packet. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you very much. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item? All right,
Right around the corner.
we're gonna give you the money. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 16.
Item number 16, Mayor, authorize the city attorney to draft flood ordinance amendments and Florida Building Code technical amendments pertaining to floodplain management. The city of Oldsmar joined the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, in 1971. Participating communities agreed to Title 44 of the Code of Federal Regulations, which specifies minimum requirements for the protection of structures under the NFIP. Communities that exceed the minimum requirements are rated by FEMA in the community rating system, we call it CRS, and they receive flood insurance discounts. Starting in 2013, as part of the higher regulatory standards, the city adopted and has enforced a cumulative calculation provision for projects on existing structures that are constructed below the base flood elevation, BFE. Any improvements made on such structure shall not exceed the allowable 50% value of the structure over a period of 15 years. Improvements that exceed the 50% of the value of the structure are considered substantial and require that the structure comply to all current flood regulations. Recent policy changes allow communities with a cumulative regulation to exclude certain mitigation and energy efficient improvements to the structures from the cumulative calculation. The proposed amendments allow certain project costs to be excluded from the cumulative calculation for additional code compliant building elements or alterations or replacements of materials or building elements whose express purpose is the mitigation of future wind and flood damage, and provisions to exclude the project cost of additional code compliant energy efficiency retrofits whose express purpose is to improve energy efficiency in the building from the cumulative calculation. Staff recommends approval, and before I introduce Tatiana, during the city, since they've adopted the higher technical standards in 2013, we are being audited this year in April from FEMA for our CRS point rating system. And based on the results of that, we may investigate future changes to the cumulative, such as eliminating the cumulative provision or shortening the duration of the provision so that it would be less than 15 years. But we want to wait until after we get our CRS audit results back first. So Tatiana Childress, I invite you to come give your presentation.
Yes, thank you, Felicia. Hello, everyone. Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. So this is case 2301, City of Oldsmar Flood Ordinance Amendments and Florida Building Code Technical Amendments. The city of Oldsmar joined National Flood Insurance Program in 1975 and is referred to as the participating community. Under the under the Title 44 of the Code of Federal Regulations, each community is required to comply with the minimum regulations. Those communities that exceed those regulations are rated by FEMA under the CRS FEMA rating. So today, City of Oldsmar is the CRS Class 6 with over 2,000 points that are verified by FEMA, which result in a flood insurance discount of up to 20% for our residents. Starting in 2013, as part of the high regulatory standards, the city adopted and has enforced cumulative over a 15-year time period for projects on existing structures. The 15-year cumulative is applicable to the existing structures that are constructed below the base flood elevation, and any improvements made on such structures shall not exceed the allowable 50% value of the structure over the period of 15 years. Improvements that exceed the 50% of the value of a structure would require that structure to comply with all current flood regulations. The basic rule for structures constructed below the BFE: if the cost of the building improvement or the cost of repair, the damage exceed 50% of the market value of the building, it must be brought to the current floodplain management standards. Recent policy changes, as mentioned prior, allowed communities with cumulative to exclude certain mitigation and energy efficient improvements to structures from cumulative when it comes to the overall improvements of the structures and determining when those structures have been substantially improved. This map demonstrates the updated flood map. Anything in pink is the special flood hazard area for Oldsmar. So the amendment includes provisions to exclude from the project cost from cumulative of additional code compliant building elements or alteration of replacement of materials or building elements whose express purpose is the mitigation of future wind or flood damage, and provide exclusions of the project cost from the cumulative of additional code compliant energy efficient retrofits whose express purpose is the improvement of energy efficiency of the building. The following slides include some examples. So one of the items will be shutters. Next will be hurricane-rated doors and windows. Also, strengthening of roof attachments or exterior walls materials. Some of the existing materials could be replaced with wind and flood damage resistant materials is another example. Also, elevating your mechanical equipment and machinery to the new base flood elevation will be one of the items, as well as the solar system installation. So the request for text amendment of the City of Oldsmar was reviewed against the section of the code 3.13.2. The amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the purpose of the land development code. The proposed amendment will promote the use of mitigation and energy efficient improvements that are code compliant. The amendment will contribute to promote the community's welfare, and the amendment will not grant a special privilege to an individual property owner. I also included an example since we had a lot of questions regarding this item. This is just a one scenario out of 100 potential ones. So this particular graphic represents a house that, for instance, became non-compliant due to the new FEMA maps that were adopted in 2021. So you used to have a base flood elevation of, say, 10.5, and you were compliant under the older maps. But the new BFEs now needs to be 11 or 1 foot above the 11. So, and you, for instance, would like to install windows and doors and also to remodel your kitchen, so you apply to the city, and the city tells you, well, based on your elevation certificate, your structure is now below the BFE, so and you're subject to 50% rule. So what does it mean? Well, that means that we have to get an appraisal of your house or use the Pinellas County property appraiser value that FEMA provides to us and to determine what the market value of the structure is. So once we determine what the market value from that appraisal again or from Pinellas County, then we know what amount of money we can work with. So in this particular example, we have the structure was appraised, came back at 200,000 for the structure again, not the entire property. Then the FEMA 50% would be 100,000 of 50 of the 200. And then these are just numbers, probably last year numbers. The new hurricane rated window permit would cost maybe 30,000, and the new kitchen will be maybe 35,000. So the total project cost here being 65,000. So with the new amendment, the cost of the new kitchen will be still included into the 50% and the cumulative. However, the cost of the hurricane rated windows will be excluded from that cost, leaving you with 30% cumulative that you would use up for the next 15 years rather than 65. Based on the above discussion, staff recommends approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Tatiana?
Presentation was very helpful. Thank you, Tatiana.
Welcome.
You did a great job. Very informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, well, thank you so much. Anything else? Great job. Wonderful. All right, next item on the agenda is item
Very good.
7.
We gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
We need a
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
To authorize the city attorney.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 17.
Item 17, authorize the city manager to continue offering employees a recreation card at no charge and up to a 50% discount on certain programs as determined by the city manager. The city's had long-standing practice of offering city employees a recreation card for no charge as a fringe benefit. This allows employees to access recreational programming at a lower resident rate. Employees are also presently offered up to a 50% discount off of a resident recreation card rate for certain programs offered by the city and a 50% off the purchase of a brick at Veterans Park. In an effort to formally codify this practice, it would be expressed in the city's personnel policies and procedures under Section 13, Insurance and Benefits, if approved by the City Council. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? Great job, Felicia. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the city clerk, Ann Nixon, item 18.
Item 18, schedule executive session regarding David McDonald et al. Versus City of Oldsmar et al. Per statute 286.011, parenthesis A, parenthesis, the city attorney must make the request, so I need to turn this item over to Tom Trask.
Thank you, Ann. As mentioned by Ann, we're asking for a shade meeting to be held to discuss settlement negotiations or strategy sessions related to litigation expenditures in the McDonald case. There has been a proposed date of March the 2nd, which is a Thursday at 5:30 p.m. I'm asking that we go ahead and schedule that. The meeting itself will last approximately an hour. Those persons that will be present will be Mayor Dan Saraki, Vice Mayor Jared Buckman, Councilmember Steve Graber, Councilmember Andrew Knapp, Councilmember Katie Gannon, the City Manager Felicia Donnelly, Litigation Counsel Jay Daigneault, and myself, Tom Trask.
Okay. Is everyone okay with that? Thursday, March 2nd at 5:30 p.m.?
I would like to add the location will be at the State Street Center.
Okay.
It will be. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to, instead of doing it here, it's going to be at the State Street, which is 127 State Street. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And that will be referenced on the notice that will be issued.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to move to schedule the executive session on March 2nd at 5:30 to be held at State Street Center as provided by our city attorney.
Thank you, Councilmember. I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion on this item? Yes, Councilmember Graber.
Thank you. Tom, just a quick question. In reviewing the statute, just so I understand the procedure-wise, and I understand that the meeting is going to be held at the State Street Center. So it's Section 8D, but we shall give reasonable public notice at the time. The session shall commence at an open meeting at which persons chairing the meeting shall announce the commencement and estimated length of the attorney-client session and the names of the persons attending. At the conclusion of the attorney-client session, the meeting shall be reopened, and the person chairing the meeting shall announce the termination of the session.
Correct.
So when I first read that, it was I thought, okay, do we start in the council chamber and then the attendees move to the State Street Center? But that's not what I'm understanding from what you had just explained. The entire event will take place at the State Street Center. If there's anyone there from the public at the beginning of the meeting for open forum purposes, because it begins as an open session, correct? Then they're asked to leave while the executive session takes place?
That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before, because it seemed to me that it would be us and whomever else had to attend leaving, if that makes sense, and then the members of the public would stay where the open meeting began. But it's not that, just to be clear, that's how an executive, I've never had one, so just making sure that's the process.
Yeah, well, we could have it here, and you could have it in the normal work session room over there, but the problem is that it's not that secure, and it's easily, you can easily hear conversations.
Okay.
And so this discussion is going to be private, although a court reporter is going to be there. We need to make sure that the public is not involved in that, listening to that type of thing, and so it has to be separated out. So we could start it here and walk across to the community center, or we could start over there and just make sure that the public is left.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just making sure that's how it worked. Like I said, in my head, the first time I read it, I had one thing in mind, but it makes more sense to me now. Thank you for the clarification.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, I know that the date changed today, and I have a conflict on that date. I'm trying to move the conflict, and I'll know tomorrow at the latest Friday if I can make this conflict move. So I can't commit to it right at this moment.
Okay.
But I should know something by later this week. I'll let the city manager or city clerk know.
Thank you. Any other comment? Yes, Councilmember Knapp.
Mayor, just one thing. I had a brief email exchange with the city manager and the city attorney pertaining to a little bit of the wording with the agenda for this meeting. The item number 1, it says upon adjournment of this meeting, and then adjournment, the way it's written out in this agenda, doesn't take place till the end. And we say in there, it says that we will recess to hold the out of sunshine or shade meeting. So I would just suggest that if we can either republish, or if we have to, as we begin that meeting, modify our agenda number 1 to say upon recess of this meeting, we will commence the out of sunshine meeting. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I made note of that. I haven't seen the revised agenda because this change happened so late in the afternoon, but
Yes.
I had already made a note of that. And so Anna's aware of it too.
Just so there's consistency there of, we're saying adjournment, but then adjournment on the agenda isn't until the end. So we're recessing to hold the out of sunshine meeting.
And is attendance required at an executive session? Meaning if Vice Mayor Buckman can't attend for whatever conflict, then we would have to reschedule in order to make sure?
It's not a requirement.
Okay.
And I've had executive sessions where there's only 3 of 5 there.
Okay.
Because there's conflicts, but, so no, it's not required.
Okay.
Anything else? So
Nothing else
Tom,
from me.
I have one item. I mentioned to Felicia in my meeting today. So you mentioned there's a court reporter, that the court reporter will be taking all of our comments and our notes,
Correct.
but that will not be released until after the case is done with. Is that correct?
And all the appeals have been exhausted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that will be released as a public record?
Yes, and I'll explain that when we go into the meeting, how that's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
That was the only question I have. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Our discussion is done. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And last thing I want to say is, Vice Mayor, I hope you can make it.
Yeah, there's a high likelihood I can move it. It happened so late in the day, I've got to make some arrangements tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know.
Okay, thank you. Next item on our agenda is the City Council. Item 19, approve adding topic to February 28 work session, volunteering as a council at community events. And I believe, Vice Mayor, did you add this to the agenda?
Did I add this? I did? Okay. I guess I did. I don't recall specifically, but okay. So I've always, had an issue with, not an issue, I shouldn't say an issue, but I think when we're trying to participate in our communities, serving beer, love serving beer, don't get me wrong, but that's only capturing a certain crowd, and we don't get the opportunity to be in front of other constituents and other people inside of the city. And when I look at the serving beer versus what Chip has been doing in the community and families, I see us, that's where we should be out. That's where we should be out in public, showing that we're out there working for the families, working for all the citizens, right? So it's something that's been on my mind for a very long time. I love serving beer. I love being a part of that. I love the event. I just think there's other areas of opportunities where we can have an opportunity for constituents to come talk to us and have conversations and say, hey, I got a concern about this, I got a concern about that. So I was offering this week, I called Chip, I'm like, if you guys need help with BMX, I'm happy. You know, I'll help park cars, I'll help do things like that. So just kind of what else could we be involved with? I know we do a lot on our own and we take time away from our families and everything else, but just wanted to bring this up and talk about it. Not that I'm against serving beer at the chamber events, I'm just, is there something that's more family focused that we can do?
You can help me with garbage.
I'd love to. I ran a trash company. I'd love to go around and pick up garbage.
Anything. Any help you give us.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's up to you all.
All right, so you want, you're basically, you're saying you want to add this to the topic to our February
I think we should
28th.
add it to the topic on work session, just have a discussion about it. Where do we want to be? When do we want to be? What do we want to
Okay.
commit to?
All right, so you gave us some examples. You'll have more for us?
Yes.
Considering what we do for the chamber, what you want to maybe do for Chip, okay? Do you want to make a motion to approve this?
Make a motion to approve adding this to the work session, volunteering at council events to the February 28th work session.
Does anybody want to make a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. Any other discussion on this item? All right, so we're going to add this to our work session on February 28th.
We have to vote on it, Dan.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. I was getting there.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is item 20, council comments, and we're going to start with Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Just wanted to say thank you again to Oldsmar Cares for having such a fantastic event. Their gala, Night in Paris, I think that was a fantastic theme for the event over there. I know they raised a whole lot of money, and I know also that David Wallace, who was unable to originally accept his award for Citizen of the Year, was able to have it represented to him in person at the event that night. He was very appreciative of it and well deserving of that award. So that was kind of the highlight of my night, to kind of catch up with him and see him get the award in person. Chip, he's still here, beat me to the punch about the Armadillo Run. I know I still have another council meeting to bring it up, but we'll be running in that. It's March 18th, 42nd annual, 5K, 10K, and fun run possibilities out there. You can check out armadillorun.org for more information. And last but not least, give a quick happy 8 months on this planet to my son, Henry. You've made it 2/3 of the way around the planet, so you got 1/3 left. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, good job. Thank you. All right, Councilmember Graber.
Thank you. We've survived Legoland this weekend, so that was great. And our 4-year-old decided he loves roller coasters. So guess what Dad gets to do for probably the next 8 or 10 years, but that's fine. We had a good time, but arms up, not screaming, wanting to go right back on them, but got in, got out, and it was very fun. I was gonna try to highlight the events. Chip, you've already done that, so not a need to rehash other than all the staff. I know the event this past weekend at BMX was wonderful. Well attended. This weekend coming up, also going to be great. As Ann had mentioned during the Community Minute, all the events that are starting to take place at the library, I actually learned some things today. I didn't realize all those 3 things were going on, but that's just good to see. But again, good to hear from Chip, and I'm just excited about all the events on the horizon heading up to the end of May. But that's all I had, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Gosh, it was a busy weekend. Not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago. We've talked about opening day. It was fantastic. At the Women's Club of Oldsmar Super Party, Lisa Smith with her broccoli cheese soup carried the bragging rights for the day.
was good.
Fantastic, extremely well-attended event. Mayor, you were there. Mayor Beaverland was there. Vice Mayor Buckman was there. It was absolutely wonderful. The ice cream social, I didn't make it to, but I heard they ran out of ice cream. It was so well attended
Yeah,
that
it
you,
was
I
nuts.
think you
I
had to go
get ice cream.
more ice cream. Yeah. So I again, just hats off to staff and to all the volunteers and all the community partner organizations that put all these different events on that create that sense of community. And then later that night, we had the John Maroney First Responders Dinner, which is always a very well-attended event, and a very solemn reminder of the task undertaken daily by everyone from the 911 operators to those who answer the call, our sheriff's department, all of our local police departments, our fire rescue, paramedics of the year, even the canine and sheriff's deputy of the year, the team. It's just such a moving event, and you're really reminded of the dramatic events that happen daily that we don't even hear about. And I wanted to be sure that we left with maybe 20 or so minutes to get over to the Opal Theater, Oldsmar Friends of the Arts Mardi Gras party tonight over at Veterans Memorial Park, where they're working very hard to raise funds for their organization and continue putting on theatrical events for youth and adults alike in the future here in Oldsmar. So thank you so much. I'll keep it to that.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Vice Mayor.
Ditto, 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 all the events that have been going on, the super party, Mardi Gras. The only one that I think we're missing out on is Granny's Closet happening this weekend at Gull Air Estates. I always like going to that and seeing what left in the closet. Other than that, I have nothing, just ready to get out to Mardi Gras and see what my kids are doing out there.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, everyone. Felicia, you have anything before I go?
I don't.
Okay, well, I just want a couple things. I want to bring up that ice cream social. So it was funny, Susan, the library director, kept coming in with a clicker. She was clicking as people were walking in. She's like, we're at 100. She goes, oh my God, we're at 200. She says, we're over 250. We're at ice cream. So it was an amazing, amazing event, and a lot of people left because we ran out of ice cream. But that was the biggest ice cream social that I've ever seen that the Friends of the Library have had. The Oldsmar Cares, I'm still questioning who left those chicken wings on the table. Was it you?
No, they were there when I got there.
Yeah, I think that you brought them and you left them there. Anyways, I wanted to eat them because I love chicken wings. I'm from Buffalo, and no one ate those chicken wings.
How do you not finish chicken?
You don't finish chicken wings when you have 90% of your stomach removed 10 years ago.
Anyways, the food at the Oldsmar Cares Gala this year, I thought was the best. The food, I really thought the food was the best. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was the BMX. I attended it down on Saturday. That was a great event. It was really crowded. I took some time and met with some of the vendors and the people in their tents. It was a really well-attended event. There's two city employees I wanted to mention. Service years for 25 years of service. I found out today, Todd Cash and Ben, I guess it's Ben Pug, is that how you say it? Pugh. Both of them, 25 years of service. That's wonderful. Congratulations to both of them. I wanted to make sure that they got recognized this evening. And then the last thing is on March 11th, don't forget, the historical tour. We had 28 people last time. We've already got like 20 members signed up. If you want more information, call 813-716-7434. It's March 11th. Meet right outside, right down here, outside in front of the Historical Society. There'll be, I think they bring donuts or coffee and cookies for to get started. But at 10:45, get ready to go, because at 11 o'clock, you're on a road for an hour and you walk through the city and you visit some of the old historical homes, and don't miss it. So don't forget, March 11th, 10:45 a.m. right here Saturday morning. And that's all I have. All right, next item on the agenda is approve the tentative agenda for March 7th, 2023. Does anyone wish to pull or add anything to the agenda? Okay, I would like to add something. On the 28th, we're going to be talking about travel expenses. I would like to add on that agenda item, add travel expenses to the agenda, because the cost of travel has increased, and I would like to have a discussion on that item. So on the 28th, we're going to be talking about it a little bit, but on the March 7th meeting, I actually want to talk about it because we might have to vote on something on the March 7th agenda. Correct?
It's up to you all.
So,
So what would we be voting on?
Are you adding a
What's the
discussion?
Well,
agenda
the
item?
situation is this, we made some changes to our expense program over the last year, and I am out of money. So I need
What
more
is-
money.
So you're asking to add to the agenda a request for a budget revision?
Yes.
Can we do that on March 7th?
Right, yes?
Yes? I'm just making sure.
So,
so we're discussing the policies on the work session on the 28th.
Mm-hmm,
And whatever comes out of that, you want to be able to vote on that on the 7th.
mm-hmm, exactly,
That's how I understand it.
correct.
That doesn't.
Because I only have $500 left in my account. And we still have we have August to go through the Florida League of Cities. Plus I have an event in St. Augustine in June I have to attend. And you want to say something, Felicia?
I think you may have to add in another discussion item for your February 28th meeting, because if I recall, you're discussing a golf cart ordinance, you're discussing the reimbursement expenses, but that's not related to an increase in the travel budget.
Right.
And then also now the volunteering at community events. So I think that it would have to be a separate item if you're going to discuss it at the work session on February 28th, because it's not in there right now.
But we can't add something else to the work session on the 28th. There's not another meeting to do that.
Well, travel expenses are reimbursable expenses, so it kind of
But,
falls under that.
but to change the budget, to make a budget revision wouldn't be the same.
Wasn't it, what is reimbursable was the discussion topic, from what I
Right.
understood. This is,
Just travel, gas,
We need a-
mileage, hotel, really, that's about it.
So how does that work? Because it would be, okay, so we discuss it at the work session, what's reimbursable, what's not. So then you're adding to the agenda for the March 7th meeting, a request for a budget revision as to the
Talk about it,
city
yes.
council budget.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's the way I understand it.
okay, I think I
Felicia,
understand.
is that okay with you?
I think it's fine. If that's the pleasure of the council to do that, then.
Yeah, well, we need to discuss it, and it needs to be added to the agenda, because I need to plan if I'm gonna be going, or if I'm not gonna be going, I have to, tell the Florida League of Cities. So yes, I need to add it. So we can discuss it and decide if we wanna add it, increase it for the budget.
I mean, should we revisit a prior agenda item and, well, wait, we can't add it to the work session.
Well, is it that anything is any result of the work session going to alter the effect of your
Tentative agenda.
revision, your
Yeah.
budget revision or not? Because if it won't, then you would just want to add your consideration of a budget revision to the March 7th agenda.
right.
Okay,
Right.
that sounds good.
What's being requested is fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it falls under what's already being reimbursed, so I don't think there's, I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like, yes, there might be some revision or adjustment to the way in which certain expenses are reimbursed, but that may not affect other expenses that have already been reimbursed. It's just requesting more, so it's sounds like just directly a budget revision or consideration of one.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can discuss it at that time, but yes, I need to add that. Okay? So I need a motion to approve with adding that new item to the agenda.
Motion to approve with the considered amendment or adjustment to the tentative agenda for consideration of budget revision as it relates to council expenses.
Thank you, Councilmember Knapp.
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion passes. And that's it. Anything else for the record? Thank you for coming.